Brilliant. So we're now going to Angela Wilde, and Angela is she's a political artist, a lesbian feminist activist and a writer. She's a former founder member of the lesbian activist group Get the L Out UK, author of the research on the cotton ceiling lesbians at Ground Zero, and the creator of Wild Women Workshop. I'm wearing one of your things, one of the t-shirts. This is one of them. A radical feminist shop for activists. Her written work features in spinning and weaving radical feminism for the 21st century, and her visual work was endorsed by feminist activist and author J.K. Rowling. And the title of your talk, Angela, is No Men Beyond This Point.
So today I wanted to speak about an art project for change. It's called No Men Beyond This Point, and tagline also Women Holding the Line. You will see why. And it's a conceptual radfem art project I've worked for a few years, so I'm really excited to be able to talk about it. And to describe it shortly, it's a portable women-only space, so a kit. You can see it's, you cannot see yet, you can see it's a bag, and it contains a kit that allows women to set up a women's space in public. And that wherever you may be, you can do that in a park, in the street, in the supermarket, anywhere outside. It has 6 concrete bases, 6 extendable poles, and more importantly, it also has a very long yellow safety tape printed with the words "Women only, no men beyond this point." So as you can see, excellent. That's it now. Thank you very much. I just wanted to show different pictures so you can see the different element of it. And so as you can see, it's portable. You can carry it around, and it's kind of a lady's handbag. I've got it here. It's just like a nondescript bag. It just has the word woman on it. And I thought it was important to have a non-conspicuous handbag, something that is traditionally understood as a feminine accessory, so we can carry it around, we go unnoticed. It doesn't attract attention, but inside there is a radical feminist tool of defiance. In fact, there's a tool to create something that patriarchy disapprove of, and we've seen with Aurora how much. It's a tool to create separatism. So it's a separatist bag in a way. The inspiration for this, I made it because as a radical feminist, I think especially all of us in this talk, we understand politically the importance of women-only spaces. But I think with the trans debate, there's been many places that many of us have taken for granted in our lives, like women's toilets, like fitting rooms, and many other places and those places have become battleground. Men have worked out new strategies to enter those places that until now, these women's spaces were legally denied to men, but now they call themselves women and they go in. Depending on which country you're in, they're actually legally allowed. And because thanks to, in fact, all the feminist work that has been done for the last 10 years or so, it has now become a very contemporary issue, and in fact, a mainstream issue. Thankfully, a lot of women who aren't calling themselves feminist understand and are aware of this problem. And so my idea for this kit came from the simple observation that, from my own experience as well, how many women have had the experience of defending a woman-only space? How many women do we know who have created a space like this? How many women have been in an intentionally created women-only space, what we call separatism? And how does it feel to create those spaces? How does it feel to maintain them in the face of potential hostility? What are the responses to women creating really literally a square meter of independence? How do we deal as women with potential conflict? How do we maintain such a space in the face of potential male hostility and violence? And so I think it's a challenging thing for women to do. I've experienced it. It is hard, mainly because men are hostile and violent when women say no and when we set up boundaries, but also because women have been socialized. We have all been socialized since birth to have no boundaries and to never say no to men. In fact, we are told on a daily basis that being kind, to be kind, and it's not kind to say no, and that it's not kind to exclude. So for many women, the idea of confronting a man that turns up in a woman's space would probably be very challenging, even scary, and for good reasons. We know of the violence. And so it occurred to me that we needed those kits to to put ourselves in this situation, to learn and to train ourselves. And of course, this is not just about toilets or fitting rooms. It is really a much wider, deeper discussion. It's a discussion about language, about the impact that language we use has in our rights and the space that we have. It is a feminist political conversation. So with this piece, when I am creating a woman-only space around me, and when I invite women inside it, and only women inside it, I define a space, but I also define a meaning. Definitions are linguistic boundaries. Defining a word is literally placing a limit around its meaning. A definition delimitates what the word means from what it doesn't mean. Apples are not oranges in the same way that men are not women. And women has a specific meaning, which by definition exclude those who are not women. It's obvious, isn't it? And people who insist that men can be women often accuse us of gatekeeping the word woman. So yes, we are, and Lorraine, you were saying the same 5 minutes ago, this is exactly what we are doing. We are indeed gatekeeping the meaning of the word woman. So what I'm trying to do with this artwork is to make this debate visual, to make it in three-dimensional shape, to take it outside of the theory, to make it into an art form and a visual form. And it also raises the political question about women's rights to boundary, women's rights to self-definition. We women, as an oppressed group, we have the right to define ourselves, and we have the right to exclude men from our definition of ourselves, from our spaces. And so the message of really that project is the word woman is a woman-only space, and we need to keep it. And all these questions, of course, are all interwoven. And so the wider radical feminist significance of this is separatism, really. The topic of women's space is not specific to the trans debate. It's a long-standing discussion that radical feminists, that lesbian feminists have had about our rights to organize without men. Many women hate the word or the very idea of separatism because it means setting a boundary, because it means, well, when you do set a boundary, you know, originally, immediately we get called a man-hater. And because it means excluding men that maybe we have in our lives, and that it's a potential confrontation. Women don't like to do it. So any discussion about separatism usually brings a lot of strong negative feelings. We get told we are unrealistic. We get told we are unpractical. There's a lot of defenses in place, but I'd argue that separatism is a key principle of feminism. There can be no feminism without women organizing, without men. We have to set boundaries. We have to say no. We have to have our spaces. And it's a little sideline, those who think it's unrealistic and unpractical should have a look at the Korean 4B movement, where the key principles is no dating men, no sex with men, no marriage to men, no children with men. And the way it's developing, and it seems to be really popular, like it's gaining a lot of traction. I think it's one of the most exciting feminist development I've ever seen, and it is based on these principles. And so that brings me to what's happening this summer. So of course, the project No Men Beyond This Point is an art project, but it's also, and maybe more specifically, a radical feminist activist tool project. And its purpose is to be used in real life. It's street art. It does not belong in a gallery. It belongs in the real world. And in fact, its purpose is to protect any women's space that need defending. And one such women's space that need defending in the UK is Hampstead Heath Ladies Pond, for example. So I know you had Venice Allen a few weeks ago, talking about this. I know there's been very, like a lot of activism around this place because it's a really important landmark of feminist, a feminist space, a lesbian space, a woman's space. But in recent years, the Ladies Pond has been the site of men's invasion. And since 2019, men have been allowed to enter the pond if they declare themselves to be women. But of course, no man is and will ever be a woman. I don't know if you've ever been, but the pond is a wonderful place. It has a lot of emotional significance for a lot of women. For me, I discovered this place about 12 years ago when I was really unwell. I had left an abusive relationship with a man, and the pond's beauty, its magic, the woman's space exclusiveness of it, the fact that it was exclusive to us, meant it was a place of safety and healing. And I was truly devastated by the invasion of men in this place. So the Ladies' Pond exists for women's enjoyment, safely and outside of the male gaze. And the Ladies' Pond does not exist to fulfill male sexual fantasies, and it certainly does not exist to validate man's man-made gender identity. So, on the 28th of July, myself and Michelle are organizing a direct action, and we will surround the pond of Hampstead Heath with the tape that I mentioned, all around it, and we will make it a women-only space. So, of course, two of us is not going to be enough to do that. So we need you. So there's really three things you could do to make this action happen. First of all is turn up, come and hold the line with us, physical line, that line around the pond, and say no to men and keep our space for ourselves. We will meet on the 28th of July at midday. So bring a friend, bring your sister, bring your mom, bring a neighbor, any woman, a picnic, bathing suit. Of course, this will be a woman-only action, obviously. The other thing you can do, and you've got the link here on the flyer, is we need money. Basically, you can support this action and help make it happen. We have a fundraiser. So if you can afford a few pounds, please support our fundraiser. And if you finance this, if you help us make it happen, you support the creation of radical feminist art. There aren't that much of it around. You make a unique radical feminist live art performance possible. And of course, you actively support a real life women-only space. And the third thing that you can do, if you're interested, obviously, is share the link, share this talk, share the flyers if you have one. I know I've started distributing them. Network on your social media everywhere. And so that's it for me. And I hope to see all of you on the 28th of July at the pond.